All right, let's go on a little journey. We're going to start with something you probably see every night, the stars. And we're going to zoom all the way out to the staggering, silent vastness of the universe. Let's dive in. So, to start, let's picture this. We're in the beautiful region of Nubra in Ladakh with two kids, Youngdal and Dorje. They look up at this incredible crystal clear night sky, and they feel that same thing you and I have felt, right? Just pure awe. I mean, you've done this, haven't you? You're staring up at the sky, and your brain just starts connecting the dots, trying to make shapes. It's this superhuman thing to do, something we've been doing since, well, forever. And that impulse, that need to find patterns in all that randomness, that's exactly where our story begins. For thousands of years, this was literally how we started to make sense of the cosmos. So these patterns, we call them constellations. But here's a cool little fact. A constellation isn't just the star pattern, the drawing. Technically, it's the whole chunk of sky that the pattern sits in, kind of like a celestial zip code for that group of stars. Now, this wasn't just about making up stories. This was serious business. If you were a sailor or a traveler back in the day, knowing the constellations was like having a GPS. It was your map. It helped you find your way, pinpoint specific stars, and yeah, it was the foundation for all those amazing myths. And get this, it's still a backup navigation method today if all the fancy tech fails. Okay, so with everyone making their own patterns, things could get a little messy. So the International Astronomical Union, the IAU, stepped in. They basically did this massive project where they divided the entire sky into neat little boxes. Now, every single star you can see officially belongs to one of these 88 constellations. And some of these are super famous. You've probably seen Orion the Hunter. You just can't miss those three bright stars in a perfect line that make up his belt. And right behind him, like a good dog, is the constellation Canis Major. And that's where you'll find Sirius, which is, no joke, the brightest star in our entire night sky. All right, so we know what they are, but how do you actually find them? Let's get into it. Think of this as your own personal guide to stargazing. Let's start with two of the big ones, the Big and Little Dippers. The Big Dipper is actually just part of a bigger constellation, Ursa Major, and in India, it's known as Saptarishi. But the Little Dipper is super important because it's got the pole star, or Dhruva Tara, right at the end of its handle. And finding that pole star is actually pretty easy. Seriously, you can do this. First, find the Big Dipper. It looks kind of like a big saucepan, right? Look at the two stars that make up the front of the cup. Now, just draw an imaginary line going up from them and follow it for about 5 times the distance between those two stars. Boom. That line points you straight to the pole star. It's not super bright, but it's always there, marking true north. And hey, a quick tip for finding Orion? Don't look for the whole hunter at first. Just look for the belt. Those 3 bright stars in a row, that's your starting point. It's the easiest way to find him. Okay. We've been looking way out at the distant stars. Now let's bring it back home. We're going to zoom in, way in, to our own cosmic backyard, the solar system. So, when you're looking up at that night sky, is it all just stars? Or is there something else up there, hiding in plain sight? Yep, there is. And here's the trick to telling them apart. Stars make their own light. They're like little engines. As that light travels millions of miles and hits our atmosphere, it gets bounced around, which makes them twinkle. Planets, they don't make their own light. They're just reflecting sunlight, like little mirrors. So they have a steady, solid shine, no twinkling. And at the center of it all, the big boss of our solar system is, of course, the sun. It's our star, a giant blazing ball of gas that's the reason for, well, pretty much everything. All the heat, all the light, all the life on this planet. It's honestly hard to wrap your head around how massive the sun is. I mean, look at this. You could line up about 100 Earths side by side just to cross its diameter. It's huge. The only reason it looks like a small disk in our sky is because it's so incredibly far away, about 150 million kilometers. All right, let's do a quick tour of the family, the 8 planets circling the sun. First up, you've got the small, rocky guys. Mercury, baked by the sun, Venus, our so-called evening star, then there's us, the blue planet, and of course, Mars, the red planet. Then you go further out and you hit the giants, the gas giants. You've got massive Jupiter, stunning Saturn with its rings, the weirdly tilted Uranus, and way out there in the cold, Neptune. So, you might be asking, what about Pluto? Everyone's favorite underdog. Well, for a long time it was planet number 9. But then, back in 2006, astronomers started finding other little worlds out there, some about the same size as Pluto. They had to kind of make a new rule book. So Pluto got a new title, dwarf planet. But wait, there's more. The solar system isn't just a sun and 8 planets. It's a busy place, filled with moons, giant space rocks, and some icy visitors that like to put on a show. A lot of these planets have moons, right? And our own moon is getting a ton of attention again. Just look at India's Chandrayaan program. It's been this amazing journey, starting back in 2008, and then, wow, in 2023, they did something no one had ever done before. They landed a spacecraft near the moon's south pole. Just an incredible world-first achievement. Okay, so what else is out there? Well, you've got 2 main types of cosmic wanderers. First, asteroids. Think of them as giant, lumpy space rocks. Most of them hang out in a big belt between Mars and Jupiter. Then you've got comets. These are totally different. They're more like dirty snowballs made of ice and dust. And when they get close to the sun, they start to heat up and stream out all that gas and dust, creating that beautiful long tail we see from Earth. Okay, time for the last step on our journey. We're going to pull back, way, way back, to see the biggest picture of all, to see where our little home fits in the grand scheme of things. So think about everything we've talked about. The sun, all 8 planets, all the moons, every single asteroid and comet, all of it, the whole shebang. It's all just one tiny, tiny part of this enormous structure we call the Milky Way galaxy, or Akasha Ganga. We're talking about billions of stars, and our entire solar system is just a grain of sand in this cosmic ocean. And that brings us to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? When you really think about that scale, about billions of stars in our galaxy and billions of other galaxies out there, you have to wonder, is there anyone else out there? Are we it? The honest answer is, we just don't know. The search is on for sure. But for right now, it's maybe the biggest mystery we have left to solve.